Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this short and sweet session with Google Digital Garage this evening, all about tracking your website traffic with Google Analytics. My name's Kirsty. I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. I've been working in this industry now for around 7 years, and I'm really excited to walk you through how you can start tracking that website traffic with Google Analytics. Now, what I'd love for you to do, in the right-hand side, where you're looking at this video, on the right-hand side right now, you'll be able to enter hello, say hello to us, let us know where you're signing in from today. What is it that you're looking to get out of the session? Why don't you let us know in that chat why you're here, what's interesting to you about this session, and what are you looking to do in regards to using your analytics data within your business. Now, you will have noticed in the chat, I am not here alone this evening. Or this afternoon. We do have our moderator in the chat there, Glenn, who's going to be in that chat as much as possible in the next 15 minutes, chatting to you, sharing any links that are applicable, and also answering a couple of those questions that come through as well. Now, I can see that there's lots of hellos coming through, and I can also see that we are global. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, and I really hope that you find this session really useful and pick up things that you can implement before the end of the 15 minutes. Now, before I get cracking and start to jump in with some of this content, and I've just noticed Supersonic Flyer, I was moderating for you this morning, so welcome back. You've had a full day of learning with that little emoji there in the chat, so welcome back. And if I notice any other names, I will say hello, but welcome, and hopefully you'll find this one just as engaging as this morning's session. Now, a bit of housekeeping while you're saying hello and introducing yourself. If you do have any trouble hearing or seeing the webinar, try refreshing your browser. Hopefully that's going to fix any technical issues there. If you're wanting to use that chat that I've just mentioned and you're thinking I can't find it, it should be to the right-hand side of this video. Make sure you're signed into your YouTube account in order to communicate with us. If you're on a mobile device, scroll down and you should be able to see that just underneath that video. Now, we also have closed captions, as I know we've got a global audience this evening, so we also have those captions available. If you hover over the YouTube video and press that button that says CC, you should be able to see those captions coming through. Now, that is everything there. The only other thing I want to mention before we jump into the session is we have a great opportunity for you for those of you that are here based in the UK, to take advantage of the one-to-one mentoring sessions that are available from Google. Now, I'm sure Glenn can source that link for you, g.co/UK mentoring, where if any of this session goes by a little too fast, or you've got some real specific business questions that you want to ask in regards to Google Analytics, you can book a free one-to-one mentoring session and really dive in a little bit deeper on some of those digital topics. I'm going to break up the next 12 minutes in two clear sections. Understanding Google Analytics, and I've just seen a question there. Does mentoring apply to bloggers or any businesses? Absolutely anyone. Glassmenia, is that right? Absolutely anyone. So sole traders, digital professionals, businesses, charities, organisations, as long as you're based in the UK. So anyone that's looking to talk about those digital skills, as long as you're based in the UK. So we're going to firstly start with understanding Google Analytics, really important, and looking at GA4, so Google Analytics 4 specifically there. And then the second part of this session is understanding where our users are coming from. So the title of the session, understanding and being able to track our website traffic with Google Analytics. We're going to look at that specific report within GA4. So first of all, understanding Google Analytics. Now, Google Analytics is absolutely an indispensable part of any part of your marketing strategy. Being able to make clear decisions from that data that we collect is really, really important when it comes to what we do in the digital space for our business. We can track things like the performance of our ads, the website traffic, any online activity on certain pages. For whoever just said, was it Glassmania there, about being a blogger. So if we wanted to track that traffic around our blog, we can then make those clear decisions when it comes to getting the most out of our budget, improving our overall marketing, improving our website in regards to our customer experience as well. So in this session, we want to really explore how to track that website traffic. Now, last year, Google Analytics made a change. Many of you may have already have some experience with Google Analytics, and with the analytics that was called Universal Analytics, or the version called Universal Analytics, which is that older version. Google Analytics 4 is the new and improved, updated version that by the end of July this year, everyone will have been expected to cross over to GA4. So in today's session, I'm going to be focusing on Google Analytics 4. So if some of the images that we walk through today look a little bit different to what yours looks like, then that's a clear indication that you are still part of this Universal Analytics, and we need to take those steps to make sure that you are using GA4. And feel free, let us know in the chat which one you're currently using. Have you managed to make the change? Now, in terms of what's on the slide here, to break that down so it's not so confusing, what we're really showing you and showcasing is this setup with Universal Analytics in comparison to the new improved GA4. It's a lot easier for us to start understanding exactly what our user wants. With GA4 on the right hand side, we can see we are starting to really understand that customer journey through our website, rather than with Universal Analytics, which started to isolate individual user sessions and not really focus on that whole journey that a customer will take with our business online. So when we think about GA4, it's a more intelligent version of Google Analytics. It has machine learning at its core, which is really, really important. And because of this machine learning, it's going to allow us to find insights. It's going to allow us to find trends, predictions across a multiple set of devices. So the main update that Google Analytics 4 is that it's more intelligent. With machine learning, it's really going to help us build that complete understanding of our customers, and not just our customers that are coming to our website in regards to on a singular device. We can also start to understand how they're interacting with our website, but also with our app integrations, and we can do that across devices. Now, I've just realized I've got a microphone cover on here. If I do this, do I sound clearer now that I've taken this microphone cover off? Anyway, continuing on. So when it comes to the analytics reports in Google Analytics, previously we had 4 reports, and we still have those 4 key. Thanks, Maria. I'm glad I noticed that at the beginning, So we still have those 4 key reports here: acquisition, engagement, monetization, and retention. So down the left-hand side of our GA4 navigation menu, we still have those 4 key reports. And underneath this, we then have what we call a user report that is now split into 2 sections, which is demographic information and the tech report. So that has kind of better expanded exactly how we can start to dive into some of this information. Now, the next slide is super important. So if you want to write this down, take screenshots, please do, because it's so useful for those of you that haven't used GA4 yet. The 4 key reports within GA4: acquisition. Anything that we find in this first area is going to help us answer the question, where are my users coming from? And that is highlighted in blue because in part 2, that is where our focus is going to be today. In regards to the other 4 reports, still definitely take note here so that you can start to understand the type of information you'll find in each of these areas. Engagement, we're going to be asking the question, how are users behaving on my site? In monetization, we're going to be thinking activation, action. How are users spending money? And the final report there, retention, are users returning? How can we nurture them to become a repeat customer or a brand ambassador? So like I said, our focus is going to be in that acquisition report because we are thinking about tracking website traffic in Google Analytics. But it's definitely useful to have this 4-step report overview so you can understand the type of data you can find in each of these areas. Now, understanding where our customers are coming from. In terms of that acquisition data and how it's structured in GA4, I want to think of the various ways and talk through the various ways that we can start to understand that website traffic data. Each option is going to give us a slightly more specific information so that we can really start with maybe an overall snapshot at the very top of our sales funnel here and our information. We can start with that overall snapshot, understand that overall traffic, where is it coming from? And then we can start to dive deeper. So then we can start to understand, okay, what's happening on specific pages with that page traffic? What's happening when we refine that down to the page visits? Where are people landing? So those 2 last ones, that green and yellow section, that's mining even deeper and understanding, okay, what are they doing on each page? And also, where are the key pages that people are landing when they visit our website? So we can start to understand and break that down into a really clear funnel. When it comes to that acquisition report, we find that on the left-hand side, we click acquisition, that will give us this drop-down menu. When we are looking for our traffic acquisition report, that is the final report that's available in that overall acquisition list there, that option on the left-hand side. So we're going to go to acquisition, the drop-down, traffic acquisition. In this traffic report, we're going to be able to see exactly which channels are driving the most traffic to our website. And we can also, on the top right, select the date range that we would like to see that information. That option is going to give you data for the whole of your website. And that's going to allow you to start to assess, okay, which channels are performing best? Which channels need more attention? Which channels actually don't work for us at all? And actually we can consolidate our time and our efforts and our budget into the channels that we can be improving. When we know exactly where that traffic is coming from, dipping into that engagement report underneath there, when we go into our pages and screens report in that second drop down, we can also start to understand where that traffic is coming from. So we might want to see exactly how that traffic changes depending on our pages. Maybe loads of your traffic is landing on your contact us page and you want to know exactly where that traffic is coming from. Or maybe you'd like to improve the direct traffic that you get to your online e-commerce site, but you'd also like to see where that traffic is coming from. So you can access that in pages and screens. When it comes to page visits, and when it comes to understanding where your page visits are coming from, we are actually going to have to add what we call a traffic source data. Now, this is a little bit different when it comes to the Universal Analytics versus GA4. So what we want to do is on top of the totals column, we want to click on that plus icon, which will give us a drop down. In that drop down, we want to choose session acquisition and make sure that that is then set to session source / medium. That's going to start to let us know and understand exactly where that data is coming from. So we want to understand the traffic source data. And you can see from the GIF that's repeating, we can start to see, so let's see if I can catch some of this information. So number 2 or 3, the shopping cart is coming directly. But let's have a look at one of the ones that we can see. So Google organic. So people coming to the homepage are using Google to get there, and organic search. So we can really dive down and start to understand where people are coming from. In terms of where our landing pages are coming from, to get even more specific, we can find out where our landing page data is. And from the GIF, we can start to see here, a landing page is that page where people first arrive when they click through to your website. So what we want to do is go across those metrics to the column named event count. And what we want to do is select that little drop down, and we want to change all visits to first visit. That's going to organize the data in that grid to let us know exactly where people are landing on our site when they first visit our website. Next, who are your users? It's a really great idea to understand exactly who your users are and where they're coming from. But we want to know who they are. We want to know where they're based and some of that demographic information. So what we can do is we can go back into our acquisition report, go into the report that says user acquisition in that drop down. Again, we're going to go to that plus button that is above the totals column. And under device, we can then actually add information like device category, browser, operating system. And that's going to give us the idea and the better understanding of not only who our website visitors are or how many we're getting, but actually what type of audience are we reaching? Are they the audience we expected to reach? And sometimes we find that the audience is quite different to what we imagined. But what this information allows us to do is start to adapt the way we speak to our audience to connect with the desired demographic. Now, I know this was a whistle-stop tour, but hopefully it's given you a little bit of an insight into those key areas that you can actually start using when it comes to GA4. If you haven't already, over to you. Number 1, switch to GA4. Get it done as soon as you can if you haven't already, especially before July. You can run GA4 alongside your Universal while it's still available, Universal, and then you're not going to have any loss of data there because you'll have built up that GA4 over time. And finally, find 3 sources of website or page traffic. Have a go, have a play around and see if you can actually look at your own data and find some of those sources of where your traffic is coming from and dive a little bit deeper with some of the images that I've shown you today. Other than that, thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to wrap up as we are out of time, but thank you so much for joining us this evening. Remember, you can sign up to more Google Digital Garage webinars on that website that I'm sure Glenn will pop into the chat for you. If this is something you want to know more about specific to your business, please do book a mentoring session with the link that's in the chat. And I look forward to seeing you in many more Google Digital Garage training sessions soon. See you later.